Hey, what's going on, y'all? We are here early Sunday morning. Judgment Day for the Falcons, man. It's your boy Marcus Washington. Y'all know what we talk about on this channel, man. Ain't nothing changed. So you're telling me there's a chance. Atlanta needs a couple of things. Well, really two. They need to win, and then they need Carolina to beat the Buccaneers, which South has been utter trash all year anyway, so anything can happen. Um, it's Judgment Day, fam. It's Judgment Day. To me, I don't care if we win and the Panthers win. Arthur Spence still needs to be fired, bro. Because you're only one game better than you were last year. Um, Guys like Cordell Patterson, the second time Cordell Patterson and then opened up his mouth in some way or capacity to show absolute disappointment for how he's been used this season. The media is already attaching head coaches to our team, fam. Already. You got the likes of Bill Belichick, who I think he'd probably go to the Chargers before he comes to us if that were to happen. Russell Wilson possibly come in here, the whole Justin Fields thing, man. That's why I always sit back and wait, man. I don't really play guess who's coming to dinner when it comes to the Falcons, man. I wait until the smoke clears. So we'll see. There's a lot of potential storylines for this team, man, but here's my thing on today. Let me get some of the early comments. What's going on, Monica? How you doing? Kiona says, "What up, Brody? I already got my liquor ready." Damn, already ready for the day. RJ says, "What's up, Mark? Can our team get right? However, if we keep Arthur Smith, Terry's got to get that smoke." Dom says, "What's going on, Mark? What's happening, Dom?" Maddie says, "What's up, Marcus? What's up, man? Good luck today, man. You might be crowned champ in the fantasy league, man. Good luck with that." So here's my thing. I don't care about none of this stuff. We just need to beat the Saints. If we beat the Saints and then Tampa beats Carolina, okay, whatever. Hey man, don't mean nothing to me. But wait, Mark, you've been talking about making the playoffs all year, man. Hey, listen, this team is what it is, fam. We in the last week of the season. This zebra has not changed its stripes all year, bruh. All year. We've been waiting and waiting and waiting and waiting for this team to reach its potential. It's not going to be this year, fam. But we do need to beat the Saints. I think if we lose today, it's the final straw. If we lose today, without a shadow of a doubt, your coach is fired tomorrow. Without a shadow of a doubt. It's one thing to just completely wet the bed, but you lost to the Saints. Your rival. Your rival. And this is the definition of a must-win game. If you still want to keep your playoff dreams alive, you got to win this. If you lose, it's over. You got to win this game, fam. It's that simple. If they do not win, then that means two things. A lot of people don't want to admit this. A lot of Arthur Smith fans don't want to admit that he lost the locker room. We'll see today. I still think he up out of there, though. But we'll see. And then what transpires today, we'll be able to talk about future moves. We'll have our draft our draft selection pretty much locked up, our draft positioning locked up. And if we're 8 again, the guy needs to be fired. So, I mean, let's be honest. Why would you trust Arthur Smith with a quarterback? The man's went through 4. One was in his system back in Tennessee. That didn't go so well. Then another guy was a guy that he absolutely was willing to die on the hill for until he put our team in a very compromised position. Why would you trust Arthur Smith with another quarterback? You can't even trust him with his offense at this point. Now, there's a lot of this on the quarterback. Yeah. But we've been saying this all year. Now people want to throw dirt on Desmond Ridder. We've been saying this all year. You're getting poor quarterback play, bruh. But we had to keep hearing about intangibles. We had to keep hearing about potential. Meanwhile, we over here like, bruh, this guy is going to get us completely bumped out of the playoffs. And what do you know? That's on the head coach. I don't care how you slice it. It's on the head coach. Did that last year, remember? Now, have some of these guys been open? Yes. We've been talking about that. Why you think Kyle Pitts is half running these routes now? Because the ball ain't coming to him. Guy wide open, don't get the ball thrown to him. But get the ball thrown to him when he's in double and triple coverage. The use of Bijan ain't on Desmond Ridder. That's on Arthur Smith. You had a 3-deep running back combo and absolutely wet the bed on it. Got Cordell Patterson and the Joker. What is that? What is that position now? Cordell's been absolutely useless all season. You had a 3-headed monster and still couldn't blow fire. Drake London, you have all these weapons and everybody's taking a dip in productivity. Everybody. Algier, dip. Cordell, definite dip. Drake, dip. Kyle Pitts, dip. How? That's on the head coach. So it's amazing to me how even after this debacle, you still have an opportunity to make playoffs. Whole season, you done wasted a whole season, and you still have an opportunity to make the playoffs if you beat the Saints and the Panthers beat the Bucks. I'm not saying it's impossible, because guess what, fam? The South has been trash all year, which is a definite reason you should be fired. These other 3 teams, fam, are not good. You arguably have the best roster in the South. And here you are slumming it with the bottom feeders. Mind you, you got beat by Carolina, who's at the bottom. So I'm one of those guys. If we make the playoffs, I'm going to be honest, not impressed. You get to the NFC Championship game? Maybe. With all that's transpired this year? Maybe. But it don't impress me that you crawled into the playoffs. Because it's not going to be because of what you did. It's going to be because of what the other teams didn't do. Saints didn't beat you. And in some type of way, Carolina, who has been at the bottom all year, finds a way to beat the Bucks. That's not impressive to me. What would have been impressive to me is us resting our starters today, like other teams are. That would have been impressive to me. To have had the NFC South locked up 3 weeks ago. This is why I'm walking into this game and I'm like, man, whatever happens, happens. Whatever happens, happens. Arthur Smith, if you don't have this team ready to roll against the Saints, our arch nemesis, if you don't have them ready to play in a must-win to go to the playoffs against your arch nemesis, you should be fired today. Fuck waiting until tomorrow. Today. And based on what we've seen over the last 3 years, I know people are walking into this game with a huge question mark. I don't know what team gonna show up. You got Arthur Blank uncertain about what he wants to do in spite of reports coming out saying that, it seems like Smith's job's safe. Man, they said the same shit about Dan Quinn before they got him up out of here. They said the same. We were 0-3. They were talking about Dan Quinn's last year. We was 0-3. They were talking about he was safe. 2 games later, he's fired. So I don't believe any of that stuff. I won't believe it until tomorrow. If we lose, we get bumped out the playoffs, and the man ain't fired by tomorrow, then we need to be pointing at Blank and McKay. At that point, next year, none of these losses are even on Arthur Smith. If they retain Arthur Smith next year, same feeling I had about Desmond Ridder when Desmond Ridder should have been benched. And every game subsequent, I put on Arthur Smith. Every game you lose next year, if Arthur Smith is still here, is completely on the owner and Rich McKay. And Fontenot got to get some of that smoke too. It's all on the front office. Every loss we take, I ain't even looking at Arthur Smith. Because again, he shouldn't even be here. Shouldn't even be here next year. But if you're going to sit here and allow your fans to go through the torture that was this year, next year, bro, I'm sorry. Now, the rational thing for an organization to do, honestly, fucking organization. Arthur Blank. I have a small channel. You're probably never going to hear this. But the best thing for you to do, win, lose, or draw. If you don't make a deep playoff run, when your season's over, you need to fire Rich McKay and you need to fire Arthur Smith. That's what you need to do. I don't know what McKay doing at this point, fam. We know what Arthur Smith ain't doing. That's winning games. That's having a winning season. See, by the 3rd year, our last 2 coaches had winning seasons. Them facts. With double-digit wins. Those are facts. Mike Smith and Dan Quinn, by their 3rd season, had double-digit wins and were in the playoffs. Facts. So what's the justification here with keeping Arthur Smith? Because he don't have a quarterback? Man had 3 years to get a quarterback. Y'all went after Deshaun Watson. Y'all remember that? then didn't get him, and immediately. See, here's the thing. People need to remember how this situation happened. There were 2 drafts you could have went and got a quarterback, right? You did, but did not pan out. But people have to understand when people talk about he hasn't had a quarterback. Bro, he had 2 solid years to get a quarterback in here. That second year, he had Matt Ryan that first year. Okay, cupboard was bare. Think about this. You won 7 games when the cupboard was bare. 2 years later, you've won 7 games and you have a top 10 defense and you got all these offensive weapons. You got the same amount of wins that you did with an aging quarterback who was on his last legs. How is that acceptable? How? This team's roster is easily better than it was Matt Ryan's last year. Nobody in their right mind going to debate me on that. This roster is 5 times better than that roster. Defense was cheeks. Matt had Kyle Pitts, had Calvin Ridley for a handful of games before Calvin tapped out. Won the same amount of games. So, Matt Ryan says he wants to go to another team. You say, okay. You trade Matt Ryan within the hour. Within the hour. You sign Marcus Mariota. Now, I want to ask people, y'all think that was a Terry Fontenot thing or an Arthur Smith thing? If you say both, then you're admitting that Arthur Smith had some input on what quarterback he wanted. That didn't work out. And then you draft a guy, I forget what drafts, like 74, 76. You draft a guy in Desmond Ridder. You keep Marcus Mariota in there 4 weeks too long. That Thursday night game should have been his last start as a Falcon. When that man threw the ball from his ass. Y'all know the play I'm talking about. When he threw it from his ass. That was a benchable offense. Kept him too long. Waited until we were basically mathematically out of the playoffs before you started Desmond Ridder. When you started Desmond Ridder, from that point on, Arthur Smith, along with Blank. Now I get why the front office is going to say the things that he said. I get why Blank said what he said. Get why Terry Fontenot said what he said. Problem is with Arthur Smith. Because there was no quarterback competition. That was your guy. You bring in Taylor Heineke, pay him big dollars for a backup, but there's still no quarterback competition. Desmond Ridder's your guy. Preseason comes. Desmond Ridder plays 1 series. And in that series, that man threw a pick in the red zone. This is why all this falls at the head of your coach. Arthur Blank didn't make that call. He trusted the coach. Terry Fontenot didn't make that call. He trusted the coach. Now, when people are moonwalking away from Desmond Ridder and Arthur Smith, they got the audacity to talk about this was never Arthur Smith's guy. How? He benched him twice, fam. He gave him every opportunity. Every opportunity in spite of the team. It wasn't until that soul-crushing pick against Carolina. It wasn't until that soul-crushing, job-ending pick that he finally said, I'm done with him. He was Arthur Smith's guy. I'll take it a step further. Every offensive weapon that we have, minus Van Jefferson, I think that was a Fontenot pick to give him more weapons. We ain't heard nothing from Van Jefferson, bruh. It's funny how Stafford was able to get more work from Jefferson than any of our quarterbacks. Well, you know, Mark, it's a quarter. That's because we don't got a quarterback. Whose problem is that? I just explained to y'all what we went through. This man had 2 years to go get a QB, bruh. He picked the same prototypical quarterback. What's the difference between Mariota and Ritter? None. Both of them have legs. Both of them have a high propensity to turn over the ball. Both of them are probably career backup QBs. What's the difference between Ritter and Heineke? Well, Heineke's more of a playmaker, but it's the same thing there. Bam, these are the quarterbacks he wants. So why would you trust him with another quarterback? I see people talking about Justin Fields and how they don't want Justin Fields because look at what's going on in Chicago, blah, blah, blah. And, Desmond Ritter is thrown for the same amount of yards as Justin Fields, and that's the guy y'all want. Well, first of all, Justin Fields was out due to an injury for a few weeks this season. Secondly, he's been on a bum-ass team the last 2 years. They just picked up DJ Moore this year. He's been on a bum-ass team the last 2 years. Them facts. And then at the beginning of this season, that defense was horrible. But riddle me this. How would you criticize and knock the people that want Justin Fields, but then you're campaigning for Russell Wilson? I'm kind of stuck on that. When last year Denver was trying to Russ just got there. Last year they were trying to run Russ out of Denver. And then this year they bench him because he won't adjust his contract. And now y'all talking about that's the move. Huh? Russ is clearly older. Clearly lost a step. This is why I sit back and I wait till the smoke clears. When this season is over with, we'll talk about who we need to go get. Because right now the only guy that we know for sure is going to be available is Russell Wilson. That's it. We don't know if Chicago might keep Justin Fields. They might pitch that first round. They got a fifth. They got not a first rounder, but the first pick of the draft. They got the fifth also. So they in good position. If they want to keep Justin, they can keep him. So I don't have a Christmas list until the smoke clears. When the smoke clears, we can talk. We can talk. Because I'm not against any picks or trades that will make us a better team. I never have been. I'm not going to call a guy trash because he hasn't been doing a good job on one team. We've seen this before. We've seen teams completely give up on a QB, ship him somewhere else. Boy, become all world. Drew Brees. Scooter says, hold on. He says, I think they got the 1st and the 10th. Let me see the draft order. I could have swore they had 1 and 5. Hold on. All righty, let's see. All right, let's do it this way. We've got the top 5 picks. 1, 2. Yeah, you're right. You're right. I thought they had the 5 for whatever reason. The 5th is 2, 3, 4, 5. The 5th is the Giants. Okay, you're right. You're right. See, that's why I like my chat, man. Why I like my chat. Not always right. Yeah, so the Giants have the 5th. And the Bears have the 10th. I stand corrected. I said, you're absolutely right. Right now, we're currently sitting at 9. Appreciate that, Scooter. Appreciate that. But yeah, Chicago's in a good position right now. If they want to go get another quarterback, they can. Or they can auction that number 1 pick off. All back, get a couple more picks. So I'm not going to be one of these guys. Oh, Boski says, okay. Boski says it was 5 like a couple weeks ago. I remember seeing it. Yeah, they've won a couple games since then, so that's probably moved them back. But I'm not one of those guys, man, that's going to sit here and shit on any player that might become available in free agency. I've never been, one of these guys, no matter who Atlanta gets in the draft. I'm always for it. I'm one of those guys. I still don't believe Kyle Pitts is a bust. It's just he hasn't been utilized the proper way. He just hasn't. I mean, hell, Drake London ain't really been properly used. We can make an argument Bijan hasn't been properly used. We can make an argument Tyler Algier ain't really being properly used. You see what I'm saying? Eldrick says, we will be at 8 when the Jets beat the Patriots and we lose to the Aints today. Okay, I got you. Okay, cool. So if Atlanta goes out and gets Justin Fields, hey, game on. If we go get Russell Wilson, hey, game on. If we decide, hey, man, we don't want either one, we want to draft Drake, we want to get another one of these guys in the draft, game on. Because one thing that I know for absolute sure is this team right now ain't working. The quarterbacks that we have in that quarterbacks room ain't working. Will Dez end up being a top flight quarterback? Who knows? For me, it ain't gonna be a while. Well, it's gonna be a while before it happens. So you can make an argument for all these things, and could a good quarterback bring out some of the playmaking potential of these guys? Sure. But herein lies the problem. When we were talking about this, nobody wanted to listen. Y'all know my videos is up. The first win of the game, the first win of the season. What did I say? First win of the season. And we won. The first game of the season, we won. What did I say? They need to address this passing game. We've been saying this all year. I've been watching guys wide open. Dez ain't hitting them. The god-awful interception that got him benched, who was open? Who was wide open? But that all falls under Arthur Smith, because these guys have had time. These guys have had time to get a quarterback in here. I think the Deshaun Watson thing kind of scared these guys away from trying to go after a Lamar Jackson, even though I don't have a problem with us not going at Lamar Jackson based on the price tag. Now, there are some people that say, well, you know what? We wouldn't have been able to keep and sustain the defense if we would have signed Lamar Jackson. That's funny because Baltimore did. Baltimore did. So that's neither here nor there. I don't have a problem with us not going after Lamar Jackson because our needs were different. And I think the Deshaun Watson situation a year prior had a lot to do with that. That's why Atlanta was one of the first teams that said, hey, don't come looking at us. Because I think they were traumatized by the year prior when they had a guy over here sitting on the couch ready to sign paperwork. Oh, man, we never had Deshaun Watson. Yeah, okay. Y'all must have forgot about that tweet that Kyle Pitts put up and then had to delete. Y'all must have forgot where Deshaun Watson was before Cleveland made that that offer. Y'all must have forgot that morning New Orleans starting to set up their team, starting to make moves. Then it happened to him again with Montez Sweat. So, again, man, I think this team needs a complete culture overhaul. Whether that be a head coach on the outside, whether you promote a guy like Jerry Gray to head coach or Nielsen, which ain't a bad idea. If you promote Jerry Gray to head coach, well, you know who's staying on the defensive side of the ball. So there are a lot of different ways. Listen, the positive is this. This is the positive, fam. Atlanta's not stuck this offseason. That's the one positive you got to take away from this. We're not stuck. We can make moves. We have draft capital. We have salary. You see what I mean? So, and we got that for about 2 years. Kyle Pitts, one of the smartest things about Kyle Pitts is his position isn't going to break the bank if you extend him. It's not. We don't have anybody on this roster where if you sign him to an extension, it's going to break you. Drake ain't due for an extension for at least another year. Another year, maybe two. And these are top 10 picks, which means you got the 5th year option. So you got a little wiggle room there. Now you got Lindstrom. He kicks in next year. I don't know what Jake Matthews' situation is. I'm gonna have to check that. I'm gonna have to check his paperwork. But you got to look at AJ. Jesse already sold up for the next couple of years. You're gonna have to pay Lamon. You got to do that. You got to do that. Grady Jarrett comes back or not. I don't know what the situation is with that. I'd love to see Grady back. So we definitely we're in a good position in the offseason. So that's the one positive. It ain't like it's been the previous 2 out of the 3 years where we couldn't do nothing, fam. We couldn't do nothing. Matt's contract and Julio's contract had us in a headlock. Now we're talking about at the time, Matt Ryan's dead cap hit was the biggest in NFL history. Well, Russell said, man, hold my Sierra. Hold my Sierra, bro. Oh, you thought your dead cap hit was something. Playboy. I don't care what team I go to next year. 39 in the Bizank. So, let me get to some of these comments. Uncle C Phil, what's going on? He says, Marty Mark, what's happening, family? You're right. It is Judgment Day. Make sure y'all hit that like and subscribe button. Yeah, hit that thing, man. Hit that thing. Hit that thing. What's going on, Dirty Bird? He says, do we pay AJ this offseason? Listen, fam, I'm gonna have an interesting live after this season is over with. We're gonna go through all this stuff. The only person I know for damn sure you better pay, for absolute sure, is Lamb. That's it. Right now, that's the only guy who I'm like, bruh, pay him. Pay him. That's the only one right now I for sure will jump off the porch on and say you got to pay him. Everybody else, we gonna get to. This might be tomorrow because season could very well be over with tomorrow or today. Now, does the roster need a complete overhaul? No. I keep telling people there's two positions, just two key positions you need to make sure you hit a home run with. Head coach. Actually, three, but it's going to be by default. Head coach, offensive coordinator, quarterback. That's it. That's it. Everything else is depth purposes. Offensive line been holding up. Defense is damn near at 40 sacks. With no top flight pass rusher, bruh. No top flight pass rusher. Almost at 40. Depth. Now I do expect Atlanta got to get it. Atlanta got to get one of those guys that can get to the quarterback. Bro, if you do that, you're jumping up the top. You're jumping up the top 5 without even playing a snap. So again, and Atlanta's in pole position to do all these things. That's why I'm not really, at this point, I'm not really stressing. Would I like to make the playoffs? Sure. I've been talking about it all year. But if they don't, there got to be some major wholesale changes. Corey says, "What's up, Mark? I've been saying that we should promote Jerry Gray as a head coach and keep Ryan Nielsen on the staff as DC. We need to draft a QB, and I want Penix." Okay. Hey, I'm not mad at that at all. I'm not mad at that at all. That's a route to take. Ray says, I keep hearing about Eric Bieniemy. Would you bring him in as a possible coach, regardless of what he's done in Washington? Again, tomorrow we're gonna talk about a lot of this stuff. If Art's gonna get fired, he's gonna get fired tomorrow. I don't know why they would hesitate firing this man, because they have no reason to hesitate. But I will say this about Eric Bieniemy. Should he get a head coaching job? Yes. Reason why I say that is look at what's going on in Kansas City. Now, we can blame a lot of this on the wide receivers not being able to catch. Kadarius Toney, boy, his hands are like bricks. That man cannot catch a cold. Scantling has had problems like that too. Now they done found a diamond in Rice. That boy right there is going to be a straight up beast. But I'm looking at, the Chiefs struggling when he left. And I mean, the man, to go from offensive coordinator to offensive coordinator of another team, man, that just seems ridiculous. But we all know why he had to do that. Other offensive coordinators just got promoted to a goddamn head coaching job. Arthur. So it's going to be interesting. It's a conversation we're going to table until this season is over with officially. That could be today. Could be next Saturday. Could be the week after. I don't know, fam. I don't know. But I'm going to see what this team does today. Because what they did last week was absolutely unacceptable. As a whole. Heineke had his worst game. Defense with the bench. And then Koo, man. I'm at a point like this. Koo is one of the best kickers when he's on. When he misses one, you can expect one to follow. Koo's gonna miss in bunches. So hopefully he's on again today. But it's gonna be interesting to see, fam. And again, I know everybody has their choice of head coach, quarterback, offensive coordinator, and all that stuff. And to me, everybody's idea is a good idea. I'm not gonna discount somebody's choice as to who they want to come in here. My thing is, if they make the team better, bring them the fuck on. Because at this point, who could be worse than Desmond Ridder? Let's just call it for what it is. Guys yet to have a great game. And Taylor is not the answer. So you got to get that part fixed quick. That's 2 orders of business. Head coach. If Arthur Smith gets fired, you can almost be for sure. Dave Ragone is right behind him. When they announce his firing, they'll be announcing Dave Ragone's firing as well. So we'll see. Am I optimistic about today? Of course. I'm a Falcons fan. I always want us to win. Always. Circumstance be damned. I always want us to win. Is it likely we gonna win today? Based off of what we've seen this season, I cannot give you that answer, which is sad. But if we do lose, I ain't turning over furniture. Because we're in a good position in the offseason. We've always been in a good position this offseason. It just sucks to see us have to struggle so hard against, fam, we're not talking about losing to the cream of the crop. We talking about losing the bottom feeders. And you can't have that. You can't have that. So, CP, what's going on, fam? He says, what's good, Marcus? This is a de facto playoff game. Basically, a de facto playoff game with help. Because you can win. You can win big and still get sent to the house. We lost control of our destiny a while ago. I'd say the Tampa game. And you lost to Tampa. You lost to Carolina. You lost to the Bears. You lost the last 3 out of 4 games. And these aren't family. Listen to me. These aren't world beaters that you lost to. They're not. They're not. That's who you lost to. So we'll see. I'ma chill, man. I'ma go get me some unhealthy ass food before the game starts. And I'm just gonna be watching. Now I want us to win because, fam, I can't. It hurts to take an L from the Saints. This one gonna sting. A little bit. It's gonna stay stings every time we lose to these bastards. But I don't think even with a win, this is enough for Arthur Smith to keep his job. You're one game better than you were when you walked in the door with absolutely nothing. Salary cap strapped. Defense bad. Offensive line in. One good wide receiver, then he left. No run game to really speak of. And you're one game better 2 years later with 3 guys who can run the ball, with a wide receiver that you don't use, with a tight end that you don't use. And 3 other receivers that might get a pass once a game. Hodge, Miller, Jefferson. If you win today, you're one game better than you were when you walked in the door. That's not progress. Sorry, fam. It's not progress. RUA says, just think, Marcus, if we don't fuck up versus Tampa and Carolina, we beat the Colts like we do. We would have clinched the South on Christmas Eve and have, yeah. I'll take it a step further. If you beat Minnesota and Arizona, you probably resting starters now. Like Master P say, think about it. If you would have won both those games, both of them, and the season played out like it played out, you'd be 2 games ahead of everybody in the NFC South. Think about it. You wet the bed on both them games before the bye. Corey says, remember, Jason Garrett was only producing 8 wins a season with Dallas. They fired him, and they have been a good competitive team ever since. Yeah. Martavia says, hell, Detroit and Jacksonville too. I agree. This is why this season is so disheartening. When you look back at it now and you look at all these games, all these teams Atlanta should have beat, and I'm not saying any given Sunday, should have beat. Minnesota was starting a backup who got hurt, and then they went to the backup of the backup who just got off the plane on Thursday and didn't even know the guys' names. He was playing backyard football with these boys. They won. Then Arizona, Kyler Murray comes back after being gone for a year. They had 1 win on their resume. And that 1 win, ironically, the quarterback who was part of that 1 win against Dallas was the guy that beat you prior. This is why I say these losses were inexcusable, because now, guess what? You're paying the price right now. And the fact that you still have an outside chance of making the playoffs is fucking astonishing. This is how bad this organization wet the bed. Man, we should be resting guys. Waiting on next weekend to play. RUA says, you want to take it a step further. Let's say you beat Washington, Minnesota, and Arizona. We would have been playing for the 1 seed today, but you can only woulda, coulda, shoulda so much. Yeah. And this is the reason why your coach got to get fired. This position that we're in today, we shouldn't even be in. Shouldn't even be in it, but we're in it. So us limping into the playoffs, to me, is not enough. For me, the only way, if I'm Arthur Blank, the only way you keep your job, Arthur, NFC Championship game. Because that means you had to go through 2 quality teams to get there, which is going to be a problem. Because what quality team have you beaten all year? You're losing to bottom feeder teams. The only win you can go back and look at all year and be like, yeah, you know what? That was it. Was against the Colts. Raymond says the easiest schedule I've ever seen, and we're still struggling. Yeah. Yeah, fam. 3 Dirty, what's going on, fam? He says, when you accept incompetence, you compromise your entire operation in any organization. I agree. Todd says, Mr. Blank is a terrible owner. Let's just be honest. We're going to have to come to that conversation if Arthur Smith is retained. Because under no circumstance is there a justifiable reason to keep him. This man had a chance to get his quarterback. When we were papered up in the offseason, man had a chance. They rode and bet the horse on Ritter, thinking he was Seabiscuit. Come to find out, he was Mr. Ed Wilbur. He had his chance, fam. And let's not forget one vital piece of information. Him and Terry Fontenot said this was going to be a 3-year build to make us a competitive team. They said that. The fans didn't put this on them. That's what they sold us. 3 years. And we gave him the first 2. I even said last year, if they win 7 games last year, it's an improvement. Which is exactly what they did. They won 7 games. Coming into this season, I said this team needs to win 10. Minimum. Even if they won today, they'd be 2 games behind the minimum. And that's not hard to look at because now we get to look at the season in hindsight. And you dropped a game to 3, maybe 4 subpar teams. That's 11 wins right there. If you don't drop those. So it's Judgment Day. It's Judgment Day, fam. This, to me, needs to be that pivotal moment where this organization looks at itself and says, you know what? What we're doing is not working as an organization. Now, under the Matt Ryan era, at least the offense looks somewhat competent. But there were plenty of years where we didn't make the playoffs then too. But this offseason, man, I said they needed to hit a home run last offseason. They did. They struck out in the 2 spots where you got to have it. You got to have it, baby. You got to have it. We can say what we want to about Matt Ryan. We can say what we want to. I used to always joke, if you saw Matt Ryan with the deer in the headlights stare, it was a wrap that game. At the beginning of the game, I used to always look at Matt Ryan. If I saw that deer in the headlights, we were through, fam. We were through. I just counted that as an L. But when Matt was hitting, he was hitting. There was a game in the first year that Arthur Smith took over. And Matt was out there wheeling and dealing. Arthur Smith decided to start running the ball. I'm like, bro, why would you do that? Why would you do that? Matt out here wheeling and dealing, bruh. You got to let Matt do his thing when Matt is streaking like this. No, I decided to start running the ball. What Arthur is doing this year is not new. He did this in his first year. And we lost that game. And I came on here, I said, we can't put this game on Matt Ryan. Matt Ryan was out here powerballing. And Matt was on last legs then. That made it even worse. Because those type of games you were not going to get from Matt Ryan every single, you just weren't at that point. But that particular game, Matt was out here wheeling and dealing. And then your boy said, we're going to start running the ball. It's Judgment Day, man. Do I think we should beat the Saints? Yes. Saints been a dumpster fire all year. Will we win? Fam, I can't tell you. This team's so all over the place, I can't tell you. I wish I could come to you today with confidence. We're standing tall in the paint. I got us winning. 31-10. I wish I could tell you that, fam, but I can't. You saw what happened last week. After having the most complete game we did 2 weeks prior, we came back the very next week and did that. So I don't know. What I do know is if you do lose, it's a wrap. And if you win and Tampa wins, it's a wrap. And if you win and Carolina somehow wins, talk to you next Saturday. And if we do get to next Saturday, because I'm pretty positive we're going to be playing next Saturday, if we make the playoffs. We ain't playing Sunday. And we lose, Art still need to get fired. He's not the guy that's going to take you to the next level. I don't care what quarterback you put behind center. He's not it. One of the key things I look at is he's not a leader of men. None of those guys on offense are really getting up and playing for this guy, man. That's a problem. And then you got to look at it this way. If this man gets retained, what they going to do at offensive coordinator? Is he going to fire Dave Ragone? Or are we retaining him? Man, if we see, a lot of things can't go right if you're retaining this guy. So, that being said, what time is it? It's 11:29. So we're right at an hour and a half before kickoff. I'm gonna be watching body language. I can kind of tell you how this is gonna go because it's been going this way all year. Defense is gonna give the offense chance after chance after chance, and and again, I think Taylor Heinicke is starting today. They said he participated all week. So we'll see how this goes. We'll see how it goes. Let me update this real quick and see if there's any new news on Taylor Heinicke. And this is how Desmond Ridder pissed Arthur Smith off, boy. Because y'all remember the first time Taylor Heinicke messed up that ankle? We want to buy. Oh, he was ready to go back to Desmond Ridder. Now they letting Taylor practice his ass off. we got to make sure for sure you can't play. That's the only way we putting this boy back in the game. They had to put him back in the game last week, but you saw what the boy did. 4 pass attempts. A pick came out of that. Y'all think I'm joking when I talk about the whoops. That's a serious thing. And right now, Ritter has contracted. He contracted the whoops a while ago. But now it's just getting progressively worse. And you know what the medication is? The bench. The bench. That's the medication. So right now, 2 hours ago, Falcons Taylor Heineke aiming to play Sunday. Status of Falcons quarterback Taylor Heineke to be made before kickoff. That was a day ago. 53. Okay, let's see what we got. Who's the inactives? It's 53 seconds ago. Oh, Jesus Christ. Desmond Ritter is the quarterback. Desmond Ritter to take over for Taylor Heineke, who's inactive for Sunday's game. There you have it, fam. The Falcons have come to a decision. Hold on. Let me see real quick. Okay, yeah. All right. The Falcons have come to a decision on the game status of quarterback Taylor Heineke and defensive end Zach Harrison. Both were listed as questionable on Friday's injury report ahead of Sunday's game in New Orleans, and both were ruled out when the inactives list was released 90 minutes prior to kickoff. With Heineke inactive, former QB1 Desmond Ritter will return to the starting lineup. Logan Woodside, who has been the Falcons' emergency third quarterback all season, which they need to go ahead and cut, will be Ritter's backup. Yeah. The Falcons have listed Heineke as the emergency third quarterback in New Orleans. As a reminder, Heineke will dress but cannot enter the game unless both Ritter and Woodside are ineligible to take the field. If either quarterback is cleared to return to field of play, Heineke would have to immediately come out of the game. Oh, Lord. Which is ironic because Ritter's first game was against the Saints. Ritter's last game as a starter might be with the Saints. So the plot thickens. Oh, this has become a lot more interesting. So what's the over-under on Desmond Ritter's picks? What y'all got? Y'all think, how many times do y'all think Desmond Ritter is going to turn over the ball? Ironically, I'm going to say he doesn't turn over the ball this game. I think they're probably going to keep this game as vanilla as possible. They can't afford to turn over the game. Armani says 3. Armani says the boy giving up the draws 3 times. Matter of fact, fuck that. I'm going to say 1. I'm going to say turns it over 1 time. Y'all, cause one thing y'all know Dez is good for is fumbling the exchange. Maurice, Scooter says 1 pick, 1 fumble. Maurice says 2, 1 pick, 1 fumble. RUA says I'll say 1. Yeah, I think they're gonna keep it very vanilla, man. I think if it turns into a shootout, I'm gonna jump that 1 to 2. But I'm gonna say 1. I think it's gonna be very, very vanilla. Bird Gang says 2 fumbles. 2 fumbles. Okay, you don't got a pick, you got fumbles. Okay, Armani says 2 picks, 1 fumble. Yeah. God, y'all trying to sway me, man. This is tough. I'm gonna stick with 1. Corey says Ritter is gonna beat the Saints and save his and Arthur Smith's job. Take it to the bank, unfortunately. Okay, Corey. Patrick says ain't no time for vanilla. LOL. Last ride, might as well bring the play. Hey, hey, you might as well. Hey, fuck it. Hey, all y'all, go vertical. I'm just gonna shoot this bitch in the air. Just go vertical. No slants, no nothing. We Hail Mary on every single play. We about to play this bitch like it's Madden. Ray says, I think one turnover, he's playing for his job. Raymond says, I agree. More fumbles than picks today. Got to keep the trend. He's good. He's good for the fumble exchange, man. But yeah, I'm gonna keep it to 1. If it turns into a shootout and Ritter has to throw the ball, I'm gonna upgrade that to 2. But for some reason, I don't know why. And this is crazy because he's a turnover machine. But for whatever reason, I'm gonna stick to 1. I'm gonna stick to 1. That's my final goddamn answer. I'm locking it in like it's Jeopardy. Like it's a final Jeopardy question. I'm locking it in. Now he could very well go for 3 or 4 turnovers. Very well. But I'm gonna stick to 1. Since this might be Ritter's last game, I'm gonna be optimistic and say he's gonna do 1. 3 Dirty says Ritter has had a meeting with Smith. Hey, young man, we're playing for both our immediate careers. I think both of them out there regardless. But, you know, we'll see. We'll see. I think the Saints are going to be playing with their hair on fire because, hey, if anything, they can knock us out of the playoff discussion completely. But I'm going to give Ritter the benefit of the doubt. People think I hate the boy. Personally, they think I hate him. I don't hate him personally. He's just a turnover machine. But for this game, I'm going to hold my head up high and say, Ritter is going to turn the ball over once. Now, if that turnover happens in the first quarter, I'm bumping that up to 5. But listen, if Ritter's starting, this is what I want to see from Desmond Ritter. This is what I want to see. If it ain't there, run. If it ain't there, run. Take off. That's what I want to see. But anyway, fam, I'm gonna take this last one from Dirty Bird Gang. He says Smith said he's riding off into the sunset on his terms. I'll give him respect for that, but I need him outside of I-285 by 12 p.m. Monday. I second that, fam. I second that. With that being said, fam, I'm going to go ahead and hop up off here. Y'all know, rain, sleet, or snow, I'll be back on here after the game goes off, man. And we're going to have an interesting conversation regardless of the outcome. So let's go ahead and attack this like it's the last game of our life. If anything, it's damn sure going to be entertaining. I'll say that for sure. But I'm up out of here, fam. I'll be back on here after the game is over with, man. Peace.